Welcome back. It's Monday, and that means it's time for our Medical Marvelous Monday right here on K Radio News Channel 13. You see how I changed that?
Added marvelous.
Every week we have to add an M.
Oh,
So
gosh.
Medical Marvelous Monday.
That's what it's called.
We'll have a theme song next week, right?
Well, Dr. John, you know, it's more than $30 billion a year industry, vitamins and supplements, but they're not just for adults. They also, these companies are targeting kids. Do kids really need to be taking these vitamins?
And like you said, it's 30 billion with a B. Not million, but 30 billion. And well, they now come in cartoon characters, bright colors, different flavors. Of course, the vitamin world is speaking directly to children. But when it comes to taking daily supplements, healthy children who eat a normal, well-balanced diet do not necessarily need vitamins. That big exception is kind of a big one, and that's vitamin D. Now, what we know is that most children here in the U.S. do not meet the recommended daily allowance for vitamin D. That recommended daily allowance is 600 international units a day for children. That's the equivalent of 32 ounces or 4 cups of fortified milk or 4 servings of fortified dairy products like yogurts and cheeses. But it's also important to remember that you're putting any vitamins you have out of reach like any other medicine, because to children, they look and they taste like candy, especially any vitamins that contain iron, because iron, if it's overdosed, can be toxic. And so it's very, very important. Treat them like you do any kind of medicines. And the other thing, vitamin D, that's the sunshine vitamin. Two things at once. You could get them out exercising and get some sunshine, and they can get vitamin D that way, but of course sunscreen's important.
And then when they come in, they could hydrate with a glass of milk.
There you go.
Right?
Lots
Even
of
more
vitamin
vitamin D.
Yeah.
But those vitamins really do. I remember the Flintstone gummy ones and even the chewy ones. Like, I mean, they taste good.
And they taste good. They look like candy. They look like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Kids see them. They see them as candy. You want to make sure, again, that they don't get to that bottle, because that can be really
So
bad.
really, you could just make sure your kids on your own are getting the vitamins that they need.
That's the best thing to do. Just a well-fortified diet. Make sure they're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and get out once in a while in the sun and play and exercise like kids should be.
All right. Well, we're hearing about a listeria outbreak responsible for 3 deaths in the past year, potentially linked to Bluebell ice cream products. The company issued a recall, but said many of the other products are not affected. How does ice cream get contaminated?
And unfortunately, it's actually pretty simple. The tainted ice cream was made on a single production line at one of Bluebell plants in Texas, and that was probably exposed to listeria bacteria while it was still in a liquid form. Now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 1,600 Americans do get sick from listeria each and every year, and it can be fatal in certain high-risk groups. The CDC says it's actually the 3rd leading cause of death from food poisoning. Now, the FDA, on the other hand, says the longer food is stored, the more opportunity it has to grow this specific type of outbreak. Now, Bluebell has removed the potentially contaminated products and has shut down the production line where the product was made. So that's the good news. Again, the bad news is sometimes these are hard to avoid because we don't know they're there until it's too late. But at the same time, just with any kind of food safety, prepare your food right, make sure you keep things clean, and that should help out, hopefully.
Well, today in Colorado Springs, temperatures reached the 80s, and Pueblo was even warmer. But the heat could cause all kinds of problems for those who go out and pound the pavement and run, Dr. John.
Right, exactly. And what happened here is the LA Marathon yesterday happened. 185 people were treated for heat-related injuries. They had a record high. 36 people were taken to hospitals, including a man who had a heart attack. Now, the temperature at the start of the 26-mile race was 71 degrees, and it rose to the 80s along parts of the route. Now, the important thing, of course, is making sure you prevent heat exhaustion, heat stroke, dehydration, those types of things. So some of the things you can do: drink plenty of fluids. If you start feeling the symptoms, you're starting to feel overheated, you're starting to feel cramps, or people are starting to get confused, make sure you put them in a cool environment. And Rob, for this one's going to be tough for you, Rob.
Yes.
You want to keep your shirt on.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
Because if you take it off,
I like
you
to
get too
bring
much
joy to
sunshine.
the world,
I know.
Dr. John,
But if
though.
you keep it on, the wind blowing through it and the sweat kind of helps get your temperature
Just
down. So
wear a tank top.
exactly.
I have
But,
a
and
solution.
sunscreen. Sunscreen.
Lots of
as
sunscreen.
well. You need the sunscreen,
When you take that
too.
shirt off, put the sunscreen on.
My solution is don't run.
Well, I
Problem
don't know about that.
solved.
Is there anything you could do the night before? You know, maybe you're going to go, maybe you're training for a marathon.
And that's the main thing, is make sure you rest a little bit before, you're in good condition to train, and keep hydrated. That's probably the most important thing.
Great advice. Thanks so much, Dr.
You
John.
bet.
We love Monday, Marvelous Medical Day, or whatever we're calling it.
Theme song next